I guess that's the only way Deadpool's similar to me. He's my favorite character, not because I can really relate to him, but because I can understand his story and see how fucked up his story is, and I can not relate to him, but I really feel for him, because you would think that somebody who, like, if you just watch if you just read like a random Deadpool comic, you're like, it's just a guy who's like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That's it. That's like
Spider-Man only kills.
Exactly. Like, I was reading Deadpool, and my sister walked in, and she was like, "What you reading, Spider-Man?" I'm like, "No, that's not Spider-Man." He was like, "But that's Spider-Man right there." And I was like, "What are you talking about? No, that's Deadpool." And she was like, "Oh." And I was like, "How can people get that confused?" Because they, the costumes have red in them, and they both have like the full body costume. But like, Spider-Man got the big old eyes, he got the spider on the chest. Deadpool ain't got none of that. So that's what seems to be the case for everyone. And then they even poke fun at it in comics, where people mistake him for Spider-Man.
Deadpool looks a lot like, or I should say, the new Venom. Flash Thompson's Venom.
Yeah.
If he just had red on him, he'd look just like Deadpool.
Yeah.
He just had red and had swords, and he'd look just like him.
The main thing about Deadpool, everybody was like, he looked just like Deathstroke.
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
That's the whole thing, because his name is Wade Wilson, and Deathstroke's name is Slade Wilson. They both mercenaries, and they both got the same looking suit.
Why isn't Slade as, like, God? Like, Superman can't beat Slade.
Because he's just, like, super duper kung fu action, and he could beat everybody,
like,
apparently.
I mean, Superman could just, like, super fast and everything. Slade's just sitting there. He beat up the entire Teen Titans, like, what, 500 times?
Yeah, exactly. So that's the comparison they always make, and what made it even worse is Joe Kelly, my favorite Deadpool writer. I guess second will be Gail Simone, because she did a good job. But he wrote Batman and Superman. That's what he wrote, and he wrote the annual number 3. And in the annual number 3, it opens up it's like a portal to an alternate dimension.
Yeah.
And it brings out a Deathstroke that is just like Deadpool. So I read that, and I was like, I gotta fucking upload this. But it was so long that wasn't able to upload it because I didn't have the whole time constraint. I had the whole like time limit. And now everybody want to get online. Like, all my friends are popping online, and they're popping up inside the stream. Whatever. That's a small problem. But he was just like Deadpool, so he was cracking jokes, and then every time he tried to say his name, everybody kept interrupting him. So it was like, this is, I am dead, and then they would stop him. So it was like,
awesome.
You knew he was Deadpool, and he made jokes like Deadpool, and he talked like Deadpool, but they wouldn't let him say his name. So I guess
I always loved how Deadpool would break the fourth wall.
Yeah.
Shut up before I yell at you and yellow thought bubbles.
Exactly.
I remember there was some alien character in DC that everyone thought was insane, and he's like, whatever, you're all in a comic book anyway.
Yeah.
And he showed up like randomly. I can't remember his name.
Because I like when characters break the fourth wall, and Deadpool is like a pro at it. And I heard other characters break the fourth wall. Like, I read Wanted from Mark Miller. I read that, and that was pretty good. It was a lot darker than the movie, surprisingly. But I read that, and at the end of the book, the main character, Wesley, he's making fun of comic book readers. Because he's like, I didn't go back to my suck-ass job. That's for y'all. Y'all just live through the boring life. Y'all just douches and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, y'all still pay, $4 to read me, tell you fuck you, and you put up the middle finger stuff. And everybody who read the book was like, fucking angry. So he was like, what the fuck, Mark Miller, you just telling us, fuck you, and, we your fans, and blah, blah, blah. But I took it as a joke. It was just funny to me. For him to break the fourth wall and actually talk to you directly. And it's like, you just living your life boring while he's out being an assassin and a murderer and a villain and stuff, and blah. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I think also She-Hulk is supposed to, She-Hulk breaks the fourth wall.
Yeah, she does do that.
So I thought that was pretty cool. Because at first I didn't, the only thing I knew about She-Hulk was from the old Hulk. Yeah, that's another one, the old Hulk cartoon.
Anime, I had no idea, Hulk was one of those shows that I just watched randomly. I didn't watch, every Saturday or something. I'd watch it, there's, Red Hulk, Gray Hulk, She-Hulk. I'm like, what is this?
Exactly.
There's a Hulk for every color in the rainbow.
Exactly. He always turns from different color or have somebody else's a different Hulk that's a different color. It was kind of ridiculous. That's why recently in comic books they had that whole Hulk I keep burping. Hulk family or whatever. And it was just like red Hulk, green Hulk, red She-Hulk, green She-Hulk, and it was all kind of crazy shit. A-Bomb, all them. They were all together, and it was ridiculous. But I really like the Hulk. And She-Hulk, she breaks the fourth wall, which is pretty funny. Also, I like how she's like, when she turns to She-Hulk, she tries to be different. So she like sweeps around and stuff like that. And yeah, we're on Skype. Somebody just asked that. Okay, he said yep. Like he'll probably, because I know it's a delay. But yeah, it's pretty funny how like she slept with Iron Man.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, what? You know, how you gonna sleep around? Blah blah blah. It was like, I'm sure all of y'all have slept with Tony, and I was like, dang. And Black Widow like made this weird face because she slept with him, and she was all angry because everybody was like talking down to her. And she was like, they don't have no problem with him doing it, but when I do it, then it's a big deal. And then she was like just looking at herself in the mirror, and she saw how like her normal human form was like the weak version of her. I forget what her name is. But she was like, that's weak. I'm not weak anymore. Blah blah blah. And a lot of crazy stuff. But she's pretty cool of character. And Peter David writes her.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep, Peter David writes She-Hulk. At least he had his run on She-Hulk, and it was a good run.
I don't really read that much Hulk. I read World War Hulk, Planet Hulk, and After Smash.
Yep, that's all the Hulk I read. And then I read Incredible Hulk.
Oh, I haven't read that.
I'm telling you, you need to read that. That got me into liking Hercules. And I'm sorry for everybody on the stream, but I'm going to have to fill this up real quick because see what popped up. But, Incredible Hercules. They took over, you read World War Hulk and everything, right? So you know how Amadeus Cho and Herc were pretty much on Hulk's side after they learned about, what happened. Because Amadeus Cho was on the side no matter what. Because he was like, the Hulk, he talked to me or whatever and blah, blah, blah. He saved my dog or something. And he was like, I'm on Hulk's side no matter what. Y'all must have did something. And then Hercules was with Amadeus Cho because Amadeus Cho went to him or whatever. Because he was like, you're Hulk's friend, blah, 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 come and help him out. Then he learned about what happened when the Illuminati and Reed and all them, smart guys did something stupid and sent Hulk to space and blew up his fucking planet. And then you know how it turns out. I'm hoping I'm not spoiling anything for anybody. Y'all can stop me if you want. But basically, after all that, which you read After Smash and all that kind of stuff. After that, Amadeus Cho, the book pretty much focused on Amadeus Cho and Hercules or whatever. And they changed the title, The Incredible Hulk, and then they continue on. And it's just pretty much their adventure, trying to help. Like, I think Hulk dies. Oh, spoilers. I'm sorry. But, they pretty much go on and do stuff. They run it from S.H.I.E.L.D. because S.H.I.E.L.D. want Amadeus Cho because he's like the smartest kid ever. And then Amadeus Cho trying to get back at S.H.I.E.L.D. for what they did to the Hulk. And then, Hercules is with him trying to make sure he don't get in trouble, trying to guide him on the right path. And I like Amadeus Cho because he's pretty funny. He's smart and stuff like that. And he is, he's like a normal kid or whatever. He's like Peter, but incredibly smart. And then you got Hercules on the other side, which is just like the bronze.
And stupid,
Yeah, like he's not really stupid, but he's kind of like he's lax about everything.
Yeah.
He kind of don't care. And he's like, it's just cool seeing her because he's like the ladies' man for some reason. Like he slept with what's the water guy, the fucking Aquarian guy from the X-Men. He's from fucking Atlantis, what's his name? Namor. No.
Oh, yeah.
Namor.
Yeah.
And
I don't know.
He slept with his sister, or his cousin, Namora, or whatever. Like, he slept with her. And then, like, they had this whole relationship. But the funny thing about Herc is that he's like, he just has sex with women and just leaves. And he's got a wife and everything. And he's just like, whatever. And then she, like, his wife, like, really, really loves him, and she just looks over all the things that he do. And he's like, that's my god wife. So he's like, whenever he's in, like, Olympus.
Yeah.
Not Olympus. Olympus. Is it Olympus? Olympus is Greek mythology.
Yeah.
And then Norse is, not Midgard, but Asgard. So when he's on Olympus, he's all, like, super husband and he's like, oh, I love you, baby, and stuff like that. Then when you go to Earth, he's just like, oh, look at all these women. So he slept with Black Widow. I think Black Widow.
And who doesn't?
That's like everybody has slept with Black Widow. Everyone. Every fucking one. I think Black Widow, Namora, his wife, and it's just like this prince of Amazon. He slept with her. It's like all this stuff, and he's just so smooth about everything. He's trying to teach like Amadeus about how to be a man. Because Amadeus is only like 15 or 16 or 17. I think he's 17 or whatever. And he's like, oh, I got to teach you how to be a man and all that. So it's just funny seeing like that whole like buddy aspect of the comic.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
It's pretty interesting, and I really like it. And it just pretty much just leads up to the Hulk coming back, pretty much. So they have like their run, and then after the Incredible Hulk ends, Incredible Hulk come back, and then that's on I think issue 600. I haven't started reading it yet, and it's pretty much dealing like with Scar and the fallout from World Hulk and stuff like that, and when he comes back. So that's pretty cool. And then Hercules and them, they got their own stuff. Like they had Chaos War, which is dealing with all the gods, and it was pretty cool. It really made Hercules one of my favorite characters because he was funny. And also he was for the meme, you mad bro? Oh no, cool story bro.
Oh yeah, where he has the thumbs up.
Yes, and that was probably one of the funniest fucking pictures I ever seen in a comic book. Like when I was reading the comic book and I scrolled down, I was like, what the fuck is he doing? Because I think Amadeus said something. And it just looks back at her, like he was like, oh my god, Hercules, I know you didn't do this. And it looks back at Hercules and he just got the thumb up. And I was like, that is so fucking funny. And then they turned it to the meme.
My friend Dick sent me to that on Facebook.
Because I didn't know it was a meme. I just kept hearing everybody say, cool story, bro. And I was like, what is that? And then somebody sent it to me, and it had the Hercules picture. And I was like, I fucking read this. What the hell is this? So I always thought that was funny. And, Hercules is one of my favorite characters. He's up there. And it's because of that run right there that this has made him one of my favorite. So if you enjoyed World Hulk and all that kind of stuff, I will, you should continue it with Incredible Hercules.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
He also asked, what about Dark Avengers? I didn't read much of Dark Avengers when it first came out. I hear they're bringing it back for some reason. Like Norman Osborn is coming back.
Yeah.
So
I don't read Dark Avengers.
Because all I know is, you had Dark Wolverine, which is Daken. Or Daken, however people say it. He was Dark Wolverine. They had a whole dark team where it was like Bullseye was Hawkeye. And, so on and so forth. And I read some of it. I seen the tie-ins with New Avengers, because I was reading New Avengers. And they had the tie-ins when they had to fight them and stuff like that. But from what I know, I don't know if it's good or not. You have to tell me, Toxin, because I haven't read a lot of it. He also asked, or he said, I read Deadpool and space comics. Now that's been my major problem with Deadpool. I don't like Deadpool in space. The only time it's been done well was when Joe Kelly did the whole Mithras arc, which is Deadpool had to fight like this world destroyer, or like this. It was like this alien that was trying to kill like this being of like. How can I say it? It was supposed to be like this being who's supposed to bring like utopia to Earth. And he was enlisted to stop him from killing him so that they could bring bliss and utopia to all the planets of, the Earth and whatever. And Deadpool was enlisted to do it because he was the only one that couldn't be affected by the mind of reading crap or whatever. So that was his great destiny. And it was a great story. And I enjoyed that. That was one of the greatest runs of Deadpool I've ever read. Like the recent stuff with Daniel Way pales in comparison to Joe Kelly stuff. So that's the only good Deadpool in space. My problem with Deadpool in space is that it's always boring to me. The recent stuff with him, being in space and being like, you want to be the best fucking, what was it? He wanted to be a mercenary or whatever, a mercenary in space. Because he took down the head honcho guy. So he was like, fuck being a superhero, I'm going to be a mercenary in space. And he went to space, and it was boring. Like, all he did in space was like, tell a bunch of stupid jokes, and then he fought a couple of guys and tried to save this planet, and he's like, this is boring, I'm going back to Earth. And I was like, yeah, that's stupid. Like, every time he go into space, it's boring to me because I feel like Deadpool's best aspect is being in the Marvel universe. You're like, alright, I'll see you when we get back. He just said, I'm going to be right back. But I feel like when he's just around, like in his bubble of the universe, which deals with his friends like Weasel and Blind Owl, and also like dealing with Taskmaster and Cable and stuff like that, when he's dealing with other Marvel characters and even on his own, just doing his own thing, when he's either, getting revenge on somebody that wronged him in the past, or if he's just going around just being a mercenary doing odd jobs, that's where Deadpool should stay. Not him being in space, because I always feel like that's boring and always draws out too long and end up being boring. So I never liked Deadpool in space. I didn't, the only stuff, what was it, Merc with the Mouth? That was decent.